Hello, welcome everybody. This is Neil with Portal to Ascension. Welcome back to Portal to Ascension on the YouTube. We're also on Alan Steinfeld's New Reality. So hello to everybody there. And today I am excited because this is a whole new level of interviews. This is the beginning of a series. So I'm going to go ahead and just introduce my co-host to you guys really quick. And it's Tangela. And Tangela is the founder of Soul Search. And Portal to Ascension and Soul Search are working very close together right now. We have a lot of different productions that are simultaneously happening, and we'll probably get into more than one of them today, share a little bit of what we're doing. But I'm just extremely excited to be connected with Tangela because she is one of the largest movers and shakers when it comes to consciousness and like really putting out that energy to help people and to really everybody to step into the true potential, you know? So Tangela is actually right above me right now. We're in Mount Shasta together, and this is the beginning of our interview series in which we're going to be interviewing a group of individuals from Soul Search, and you know, it will probably evolve after that. So for the next month and a half or so, you're going to see a lot of interviews coming out, and this is the first one. So Tangela, thank you. It's really good to be here with you and starting the series with you. Go ahead, say hi.
Hi, everyone, and hi, Neil. Thanks so much, Neil, for the great introduction. And just I wanted to welcome everyone. If you guys have not heard about Soul Search, it's soulsearch.io, and we are a global online platform for spirituality and consciousness. We are all about helping people to connect with spiritual and energetic healers, teachers, guides, events, and experiences. And yes, we're really excited. I'm super excited to be just collaborating with Neil on so many incredible opportunities and productions that we are doing together, including our upcoming Ascension of the Soul conference. It's a 2-day online conference, October 15th and 16th, where we have our incredible healers and practitioners, including Aurora Luna Star, who is joining us today, to be speaking about the ascension of the soul. What is the soul? What does it mean for us? And what does it mean during this time of ascension? And exploring our soul's evolution together. So it's going to be really incredible. We're going to go really deep over those 2 days. We have over 25 presenters, 3 MCs, and you'll be getting unlimited replay access to watch the conference at any time and be able to revisit those incredible transmissions. And so we have our incredible Soul Search healers that are actually joining us for this conference. And the series that we're doing is really a deep dive, one-on-one interview with each of our incredible practitioners. And I'm so excited to have Aurora Luna Star here with us today to open up this incredible interview series that Neil and I are doing together. And Aurora Luna Star, she is an open channel specializing in sound activations and personal empowerment. She works with a collective called the Elders of the Cosmos, which I'm excited to hear more about. And through them, Aurora brings forth light codes using sound, color, geometry, and light language. She uses her gifts to assist you to step into your highest potential. And her greatest joy is empowering you to realize your unlimited nature and help you create the life of your dreams. So thanks so much, Aurora, for joining us. And we're really excited to get to hear more about you, who you are, how you got into this work. So,
welcome, Aurora.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. Thank you, Tangela. Thank you, Neil, for this great opportunity, and for all of you for being present. It's really exciting to be here with both of you. Thank you, and all of you.
Thank you. And I'm extremely excited because we get an opportunity, because not only are we both part of Soul Search, but we're also part of the mastermind group. So this is awesome because I was telling Tangela that how great it is that we're going to get a chance to get to know each other even more, because we're truly coming together in collaboration here to, you know, all these amazing practitioners that are doing some incredible things coming together with a similar intent to assist humanity, right? And so let's start with this. How about, I always like to ask, like, what was your journey to this point? Like, was there an awakening moment in your life that kind of shifted you from one person to another person? Or was it something that you were just open to your whole life and you really had this kind of like energy of being connected? You know, what was your journey like to where you are now?
Thanks for that question. It's a big one, so I'll have to truncate it. My awareness is that I was connected to music my whole life, singing in choirs and singing with groups of people. And when I would sing, I would feel very emotional, and I feel a lot of energy. And I had no idea what all of that meant or what it was or why I would want to cry when I was singing, you know, arias or beautiful angelic kinds of music. And when I was turning 30, I moved from Los Angeles back to New York, where I'm originally from. And one of the closest friends that I met with is a yogi, a yoga teacher. And it started at that time with the first level of Reiki. And it definitely expanded a lot over the years. And when I was turning 39, so I'd been working in corporate America since I left college. And when I turned 39, I got to my desk one day and just started bawling. Like I couldn't sit there anymore and do what felt so misaligned in my soul. Like I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. And I thought I had an opportunity to do some work in Mexico with a company that was providing spiritual tours. So the people were English speaking, and then I could, you know, be of assistance to them and then go on the tours and all of that stuff. And it sounded amazing. So I packed up 8 suitcases and my cat, and I moved to Mexico, not really speaking the language very well. And it didn't work out. But it did, right? So it was a pretty powerful spiritual, what we call a quickening, right? Or a timeline jump. I was forced into some really powerful situations where I had to be in trust and surrender. 6 months later, it led me back to New York, which almost led me to England. I flew to England and got kicked out. Then went to Shasta for 3 years, and now I've been in Sedona for 4. So it's really been an interesting journey of really just listening to the guidance and leaning into all of the shadow work, all of the pieces that have been really challenging. It's been amazing.
So what was the moment when you started, you know, bawling at your desk, Aurora? Like what was coming through to you in that moment? And where were you kind of in that journey, in your own spiritual journey at that time compared to kind of where you are now as a channel, doing light language and sound activations? Had you done any of that work at that moment? Were you channeling at that time? So, you know, what has that been like?
That's a great question. Thank you, Tangela. I think I've always been a channel and I didn't know it. So that comes first, because looking back now, I can say, wow, wait a minute, that was always happening. The awareness also is that I had become a Reiki master teacher and another teacher for another healing modality. And I had been, you know, offering classes and sessions to people. And so I had this 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the life I wanted to be living. And what's funny is there was nothing special about that day. It really wasn't like something happened. My soul just started to feel like I'm sitting behind this desk and I'm working, and sometimes not. Sometimes I had so much free time that I was playing on Facebook all day long. And the question was like, what am I doing? What am I meant to be doing? What are we here to do on this planet in this lifetime? All the spiritual stuff felt so aligned. And all of the 9 to 5 or whatever that energy was, it was supporting my life and my lifestyle, but it wasn't fulfilling. I didn't feel like I was making a difference in anything. So it literally was just waking up one day and my soul saying, okay, it's time. Let's start to move you. And so I gave them actually 3 months notice, which is a little unusual, but I wanted to make sure that they had time to fill my position. And I needed to prepare my life to move to Mexico, sell my car, get rid of my apartment, like the whole 9, get rid of a lot of stuff. Cause even 8 suitcases was a little, I thought I was going to live in Mexico forever. So I was a little ambitious, but yeah.
How long were you in Mexico for?
It was just 6 months. So I really,
okay, that's a good amount of time.
It was, but what happened was I kept asking Spirit, like checking in, if you will, like, am I still supposed to be here? Because this is really hard. And I heard yes. And I was like, okay. And then check in again. Am I still supposed to be here? Because this is really hard. It was these funny things like the mosquitoes and ants infiltrating my home to the point where these are the things you don't know. They ate the insulation on the wires in the home. And so I lost all my electricity.
Oh man.
I moved in and there was no hot water because I had to actually buy my own hot water tank, like to fill with gas. Like all of these things that like, middle class white chick, right? Moving to Mexico, thinking like, this is not a problem. I know how to camp. I don't need those creature comforts all that much, but it took it to another awareness. And then also what happened, or what I experienced, I should say, is that I saw how deeply the poverty level was there and how I could actually be of service in that way. Because even in my own neighborhood where there were people also living, families of Mexico living in my neighborhood who were working class and living beautiful lives, but there were also people who were in broken, rundown homes just right across the street or right next door. Right. And people who could use help, who could use me to go get them food, even though I could barely communicate with them. There was the language of love. And that's what really started to open for me when I lived in Mexico, which was so important, obviously, right, to any journey, is coming into your heart and seeing the people as one, right? Because we're all the same. We all want the same things, no matter where we are. And really learning to drop into that space and let the whining come to a close, because as soon as I could see how hard it was for other people, my own journey seemed like nonsense. And that was really, really powerful.
It sounds like Mexico was a huge milestone for you, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
connect you. So were you a practitioner of anything back then, or what was the journey like from you waking up and being on a spiritual journey to becoming an actual facilitator of different modalities?
The facilitation part felt easy at first until I realized that I wasn't walking my talk. And so when I started facilitating, one of the first things that started happening was I was taking in a lot of energy that wasn't mine, that might not have been of the highest frequency, let's say. And so one of my teachers had pulled me aside, a little upset with me, but it was awesome. I was crying because I wasn't doing it right. It was that inner child like, oh, I'm doing it all wrong. But again, that milestone moment where, okay, if you're going to start to be in a leadership role, how are you living your life? Are you waking up in prayer? Are you connecting with source? Are you praying over your food? Are you connecting with nature? Are you walking your talk? Are you doing the things you're asking your clients and students to do? And that was like the most important thing I could have ever learned, right? Because a part of us, we all walked in with this great wisdom, right? This is why that's how even we got here, I feel. So there's a part of me that already knew how to do things, but there was the human part that was still needing to bridge to the soul, right? Well, I know the answers to everything doesn't really answer anything. I had to definitely spill out my cup. And so there was a growth process through becoming a practitioner of just diving deeper into what it meant to, right? So Reiki can be a way of life. It's not what I facilitate anymore, but it was definitely the door that opened me into remembering what it means to really be spiritual in everything. Yeah, and come back to that as much as you can.
Wow. And so when did the elders of the cosmos start coming through? And
yeah, that's a great question, Tangela. I hope I'm still with you guys because everything's frozen, so I'm not sure. I have a feeling the answer is no. I'm not sure if I'm still live, so I'm going to keep speaking until I know otherwise. The elders of the cosmos came in at a point where I was living in Mount Shasta and went through another dark night of the soul and had an awareness that I was channeling a lot of frequencies through light language. And as I asked who I was connecting with and what I was connecting with, the answer was the elders of the cosmos. And that awareness is around the fact that a lot of people desire to connect with Archangel Michael or Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene or Yeshua, Jesus, Buddha, all of these beings. And the challenge for me was I could see at times some of those beings coming into my field. And I also had an awareness that I wasn't always speaking to one being. And what they showed me was, Matt Kahn had once explained that he was sitting at a round table with all of these beings. And at this round table, he saw the faces of all these different ascendeds and angelics. And they showed me that it was something like that. And then in showing me that it was something like that, the awareness became that I wasn't just channeling one energy. I was bringing in a collective of energy, almost like source, right? But closer to us, closer to human, because we needed to be able to understand, right? If I was bringing through light and speaking any of that light, it would come out in language that none of us can really understand, but we can feel, which is what light language essentially is. So the elders came through as like, we could be a group from this star region, or we could be a collective of angelics, or we could be a collection of ascendeds, or a collection of all of that. And so that happened. Yeah, again, I was just sharing that it happened in Mount Shasta. Funny enough, where you guys are now.
Interesting.
Yeah, just on the heels of a really dark night of the soul is when they walked in.
Wow.
Gratefully, I didn't leave. So whoever was out in the audience got to hear it, and we're all back together. So yay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed. Sorry,
No,
we had a little
It's
electricity
okay.
snafu
Wi-Fi went
here.
out completely. All electricity went out for like 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Well, we're back.
You got back on
So-
Wi-Fi, huh? I mean, on from my phone because
Yeah, the
it's
Wi-Fi
like,
is back on. So you were saying that the elders are not just a specific group; they're different collectives of groups. So when you communicate with them, is it often that you communicate with different sets of beings, or do you usually see the same beings appearing to you?
That's such a good question as well. Thanks for asking that, Neil. It's generally, for a long time, it's been the same collective. And the collective for me has been this mishmash of kind of everybody. There's been ascendeds, angelics, inner earth beings or elemental beings, star beings, and it's just been kind of a group of everybody. And then as I'm channeling for specific purposes or reasons, one group or pieces of a group will start to come closer, like the grandmothers will come in, or Lyrans will come in, or Arcturians will come in. That happens on a regular basis. But what recently has been happening in my work is that the Lyrans would like to speak today. And I'm like, wow, that's different. So I'm like, okay. So I sit down and I end up writing out a channel that I read out, and then I receive some sort of healing process or meditation, and then I share that. So that's been happening with the Syrians, the Lyrans, Arcturians in the past several months. I've been offering that kind of frequency. And in fact, the event that I'll be doing in September live here in Sedona, again, it's like this collective, but it sounds like specific groups are coming through because they've asked me to split it into 3 days, having the energy of Gaia and the elementals first, then having angelic frequency, and then having the star frequency. So it feels very much like there's a something specific that desires to come through come the equinox, which will be really exciting.
Do you ever see what they look like, or is it more like downloads? And are any of the elders from Earth's ancient civilizations?
Yes. So yes and yes. There are times when I get to see them, and oftentimes they don't wish for me to see them, in so much that they are aware of my own fear. So when we walk in this life, we've brought, in my awareness, all of this past life fun with us that we're here to clear. And so as we're doing that, I know that I have had some past life experiences with other energies that have been, let's say, just not so fun. But yes, I've seen different kinds of beings, different shapes of beings. In fact, in one experience that I had with the Arcturians specifically, they first showed themselves to me as baby bunnies. And I said, baby bunnies, you don't belong inside. And then they became children. And from children, they actually turned into these very large beings that almost look like scorpions. So I understand why they wanted to present themselves in a way that I could experience them without freaking out. Because if I would have seen a giant sized scorpion in my bedroom, I'm pretty sure I would have closed all of that down very quickly. But yeah, so I get to see them on occasion, but they come through frequency so I can hear them, and they give me knowings. So I see them through my mind's eye. Not always through vision. On occasion, I see them through vision, but really it's through knowings and feeling. And the sentience is how I know who's present, what frequency they are, if they're masculine or feminine in a way that we understand, right? Because a lot of the beings are really androgynous, but they come through a frequency that we can process. Yeah.
Wow. And so, Aurora, like you were mentioning for your upcoming 3-day sound activation event in Sedona, that you have 3 days starting with earth energies, then angelic energies, and then, completing with the galactic energies. Why the 3 days? Why the 3 different types of energies? What's the purpose? And what are people who are able to participate either live in Sedona or via the live stream, supposed to be experiencing through this 3-day activation process?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, Tangela. I feel that the purpose behind starting with Gaia, well, first it's our equinox, right? So we're celebrating our time of arriving into the energy of autumn. And part of what I experience a lot of my work and people who are attracted to me are a lot of star seeds, because that's probably one of the most embodied energies I walk with, though I walk with a lot of different energies. People, pink hair and tattoos and all that fun stuff, so the star being in me, can't really be hidden. With that said, we're here and our work is here. It's not anywhere else. Our work is to be in a human form on this planet in this time and space with very particular purpose. And so while we all have angelic frequencies and star frequencies and all kinds of frequencies, really, because a lot of us are so ancient, we're from time before time, people want to connect back to a planet. And I'm like, why do you want to connect there when you're so much older than that, right? Like your wisdom comes from time before time, right? But again, the human pandemic in my eyes is that we all feel less than. Every single client that I work with struggles with self-esteem, struggles with their place in the world, struggles with the frequency of the world, right? So the first place we need to anchor is right here with Gaia, because she called us here. It's an honor to actually be here in this time and space, and we get to participate in this amazing evolutionary process. It's magic. It's actually pure magic, especially when we start to tap into the frequencies of our superhuman nature, of which we've got a lot of access to. And I get that people feel blocked to it. So sound is one way to start to move those blocks. And Gaia is where they want to start. They want to start with the energies of the First Nation. And that goes back to even what Neil had asked before, and I didn't answer. Yes, we connect deeply, all of us, with the energies of the origins of this planet, which of course are from other places. The First Nation of this planet really are star beings, but they still embodied being here, knew what it meant to walk with Gaia, to hear her, to listen to the cycles, to feel into the body, and have all that connected into one, to have appreciation and gratitude for all that we receive without taking it for granted, right? We're in a very fast world right now that has lost a lot of that connection. And oftentimes we go to retreat to come back to that frequency. So Earth, she showed up first and she said, this is my party. Everybody else is just showing up on my behalf. So I said, yes, my lady.
Beautifully said. And just the whole concept of like, there are many that want to go home, many that are looking for escape from the challenges and waiting for the moment that we ascend and that we have open contact or whatever, we're just leaving this planet in general. But what you said is so important, that we didn't choose to come here just to be like we want to leave. We came here to embrace Gaia. We also came here with amnesia. We came here with a bunch of challenges that we had to face. But the trick, I guess the lesson is to transcend these challenges so we can create pure connection to Gaia and then reap the benefits of that connection, right? And I say to people that because I met a lot of people that used to tell me, even my ex-wife used to say, I'm not from space, I'm from Earth, because I'm all about space, right? And then my answer is, well, did you not know that Earth is in space? We are our own spaceship, and we're star beings on spaceship Earth, and that's straight up, So
Earth is not for
Yeah.
sissies. We are here.
No. Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious, just to go back to the star being thing, is there a specific group of beings that you feel more connected to than others? The ones that really call out to you, that maybe you have some sort of resonance on multiple lives there, and that why that signal comes in stronger, or something like that?
It's a collective again. So the answer is yes. I would say that Orion and Sirius and Arcturus are the top three, but of course, Pleiadian, Lyran. I mean, we really do have codes from like everywhere. So they just seem to, what happens for me in my awareness is that I get activated at different times when I'm going through different lessons or I have different energies to share. My awareness is my future source self is coming back to me to say, on this day, this is what you're going to offer, because these codes are really important to be brought into the planet in this moment. And the funny thing is, the codes are already in every single one of us, right? So I'm not everyone's medicine, but the people that I am medicine for are going to have a resonance because we share those similar codes. And of course, it's many of us, right? Many of us have the same fun stuff going on. It's not, I'm not so special by any means. I'm the equal to everyone on this planet. I simply have an awareness of access to energies of my future source self. Again, that's how I experience it. And that being comes back to me with that wisdom, that information that comes to me so that I can share it so that other people can awaken from that amnesia, which is really, again, the purpose. Sound tends to get us out of our mind, feeling and connecting with our body and our heart. I'm actually giving out tissues as part of my gift to the 50 people who are showing up in Sedona, because it is emotional to remember who we are and to see what we've forgotten, right? And so those specific frequencies will come through for sure. But again, my awareness is the multiverse, not just the universe, right? I don't feel like I'm just connecting with one time and space. It's all time and space. It's quantum. And then to that end, it all goes back to source. And I definitely feel like there are times when I'm channeling source frequency. And to go back to what you were saying, Neil, not only did Gaia call us to this beautiful star, the more grounded we are, the more light we can hold, right? So if you're working from the heart chakra up, then you're constantly ungrounded and you're losing your light on you call it back, but it's kind of bouncing around. If we can connect all of the chakra system, which is more immense than any of us are really aware of, and really ground into being here and owning that we're here and accepting and loving that we're here, the source light, the infinite of all that is that we can walk with is like really unlimited. And it becomes, again, this way of being. Not just, and don't get me wrong, I go back into my inner child all the time. Tangela has witnessed it. And so have many of you who are watching. It happens, right? We're human. We're having this human experience. And in this moment, we are human. So I'm not this infinite cosmic power all the time that I'm walking in it, right? I'm having a human experience. I'm getting impatient or frustrated or whatever the fun stuff is. And I'm still aware that that's where I want to be. Heaven on earth, right? What every near-death experience person who comes back will say is that they came back because heaven isn't a place. Heaven is a choice. And so here we are.
Wow.
Beautiful, Aurora. That's beautiful. And so what are your connections to the angelic realms? You've spoken about galactics, you've spoken about Gaia. Like, do you work with the angels? If so, how so? How do they come to you? What's your relationship? And are they different from what people might perceive angels to be?
So my connection is specifically with the Elohim of peace, though again, archangelics can come through, seraphim and cherubim can come through. There's El Shaddai, there's all these different facets of angelic beings. And I feel like everything I have an awareness of is like an iota. It's like this little tiny awareness of such a vast thing, because really our minds would just explode if we could have an awareness of all the is that there is. The angels are very high frequency and they're very loving. They come in very sweetly. They're definitely part of while I connect with Hathor on the one point of the sound healing work that I do, I definitely connect with the angelics on another. That the singing that you would expect to hear in heaven can sometimes be the flow that comes out. So it'll be very interesting to see what a day of that's going to look like. They are they're just so loving, and I often feel them on my shoulders, and like I'm being held by them. Whereas the galactics, I feel it comes straight through my crown. And with Gaia and the elementals, I feel them come through the base of my feet into my spine and then extend upwards. So I really do experience them all in a different way. And the angels are I do feel they are different than we perceive them. To me, they're kind of a form of galactics. And again, we have a tough time because religion has painted a very small box on humanity to offer us. To me, religion was like the original form of government, right? It was the original form of how we control the behavior of people, but it wasn't all bad initially, right? It gave us a lot of powerful tenets to be good to one another. And at some point, it may have certain sects and choices of different religions and whatever. Like within all things, there's the light and there's the shadow. There's the part that wants to have us expand into our spirituality, and there's the part that wants to keep us small so that they can have control. And so I believe that part of that control mechanism says, well, if they believe in an angelic being from someplace beyond this energy, then they might start worshiping that instead of believing that that's part of the assistance. I guess that's one of my awarenesses or how I perceive that. So the angels to me are just another form of galactic beings, though again, they hold a very specific frequency. Like to me, the Elohim are they are builders of worlds through the directive of source. So nothing to me happens without the energy of, or the awareness of the all that is, or an omniscient kind of piece to that frequency. And we're all pieces of that, and everything's an aspect of that. Of course, if you're in a 9th or 10th or 12th dimensional frequency, the way you're communicating with source is really pretty instantaneous. You're getting huge packets of information all at once that you don't need to sit and dissect for like, months on end or years on end. It's instant. So source wants to expand into what it would be like to experience life in this way. Right.
Yes. It's like source wants to add an addition to the house.
Yeah. Totally.
And like the each dimension is basically a data set of awareness, right? And so when you tap into that data set, time becomes less and less like it is now and becomes completely fluid and instant. Yeah. So it makes sense. It's interesting that we have created this dimension in which we give ourselves time to fathom things that are really just available all the time. And as we shift into these other dimensions, we're able to get instant downloads, synchronicities manifest at a faster rate. And so that's where we're heading, right? Because I wanted to talk about also quantum manifestation, and that's kind of what that is, right? Manifesting like that. And, I remember the law of attraction equation was thought equals action, action equals manifestation. But as we move forward into this reality we're creating, thought is becoming more and more manifestation almost immediately without even the action. It's just the things are happening and we're moving towards that. So I'd love for you to share about quantum manifesting and what you do, how you even got to that modality and what it is.
So again, that's just something from my future source self that said, hey, it's time for this to be brought into the field. And I actually just even sat through a 3-day event with Rika Zimmerman, which was a lot of fun. And I really aligned with some of what she was mentioning. And it's so funny to realize but not all of it. So I had to kind of unpack that data actually. But my awareness is that we are always in the quantum. It's an always all the time thing. And it's a vibrational frequency. And that vibrational frequency requires our connection through the heart to our source. And if we are not fully aligned with our words, our thoughts, and our emotions, right? Fully aligned with our words, our thoughts, and our emotions, then manifesting becomes that thing that we always are striving for. And when we're striving for it, we're actually moving further away from the quantum. So funny how we manifest. We manifest our fears, all that, right? So I recently spoke about the word recession in my newsletter to my peeps. And I said, wow, so now they're dropping this word recession and they're hoping that millions and potentially billions of people will lock onto that word and feel fear, because it is the emotional field that manifests. It's not just thought, right? The thought is electric. The emotion is magnetic. So the magnetism is where we're vibrating in that electric. So we need to keep our thoughts and our emotions in this excited, if you can, ecstatic, but just at least playful and fun place, right? Esther Hicks is always speaking about how, or Abraham, how we need to be playful and that we need to just be living the life that we desire in our mind so that we can actually be living that life. It is gratitude and it is humility and it is staying grounded, but it's also just excitement and thinking outside the box, really letting the box go. Our challenge is that 90% of what we think today, we're going to think tomorrow, because that's how the brain is wired. And so we need to really start saying, well, is that real or is that perception? Right? And the more that we can move into what truth is, which is anything is possible. I mean, I get it. I'm not going to become like a New York Knick tomorrow. I don't know that that's one of my aspirations, but I get that playing professional basketball on a men's team is probably not going to happen in my reality. And at the same time, that doesn't mean that if I wanted to somehow be associated or in that universe of energy, that I couldn't be. In fact, I know I could be. It's just a matter of divine will within me coming up and say, wouldn't it be so cool if? What does that look like? And then what does that feel like? And then what are a couple of actions I can take that bring me into that alignment and energy, right? Because really, the multiverse just wants to know the end point of your GPS. You're putting in the destination. I'd really love to be here. And then I'd like to go there. But speaking of Wendy Kennedy, who I'll be interviewing, she did a movie called Tuning In 2008 with a bunch of different channels, including Bashar and Lee Carroll. And something she mentioned stuck with me forever. When we're manifesting and we're in that high space of excitement and we throw out that boomerang from the top of the building, what happens is while we're waiting for the boomerang to come back can be attachment and disappointment and fear. And suddenly we're not at the top of the building anymore with our energy and our vibration. So part of staying in the quantum is choosing that energy of source, that energy of excitement, that energy of knowing that no matter what, the perfect thing is going to show up. And also not always being attached to what it looks like, right? Because it can come a million, everyone says, oh, I'm going to make money this way. Like, really? Why wouldn't you just say, I'm open to my flow of being all of abundance? Because it can come anyway. It can come from a million directions.
Exactly. I think that's a beautiful point, Aurora, just because we can get stuck in what we believe we have to manifest to make ourselves happy. And we end up putting ourselves in a box and then get frustrated because we're not able to be reaching those things or, getting the things that we think we're supposed to have. And then again, like you just said, that boomerang effect, getting into lower vibration. So we're like, why isn't this happening? But really, we're looking at it like as from such a small, finite perspective when the universe is unlimited. And like you said, oh, maybe you're not going to become a New York Knick tomorrow, but that's probably not in your soul's alignment, right? Like instead, you're this incredible vibrational alchemist, and who knows what's in store for you, but it's kind of like we get locked in. And I think that's a really interesting point of how, really just being open to what the universe has to offer and just coming more and more alignment with ourselves so that we can really embrace it, So
Totally.
I think that's really cool. Just example you've given from Wendy Kennedy to help us really put our minds around how does this quantum manifesting actually work?
Yeah. It's tricky because, again, keeping our vibration there, right? That's how it works. And like Neil had mentioned, it can totally happen instantaneously from a thought, especially when we're totally aligned to receiving it. And we are so not attached to how it shows up. So those are really the two most important pieces, because we are headed in that direction. And in fact, that's kind of the unravel that we're watching in the world around us, right? Recession, like, really? No thanks. Like, not signing up for that. But I may get to know a local farmer, and I may start to grow some of my own vegetables, and I may start to, look at other ways that I can participate in the multiverse of possibility on how that's not going to be a part of my reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what would be so amazing is a world when from birth, we're taught that our thoughts and our words create our reality, right? Imagine if that was a part of the educational system, and I often say that the solutions are simple, but getting 7 billion people to do it, that's the challenge, because that's just like, we just shift that real quick, and just like the effect it would have on the entire planet. But it's true, like, we are creating this into reality. So when we have these so much fear around the planet and so much terrible bad news, because that creates the adrenaline rush and creates the dopamine releases of like getting that excitement, we're going down a downward spiral, if you will, a downward fractal, and then that downward fractal keeps reinforcing itself. Yes. And then eventually you get lost in this reality. You don't even know that there's a way out of it. So it's really time for us to reprogram. Quantum manifesting seems to be one of those ways. And that's going to be your talk title, right? You're going to be talking on quantum manifesting in the conference. So could you maybe give us a little synopsis of like, are we going to be learning tools? What are you going to be talking about exactly? And I'll show the website while you do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, for sure. We're going to be learning tools, and we're going to be talking about hacks, right? Because the mind has already been hijacked by a consciousness that does not belong to us. Meaning we came in with the purity of who we are, and through our growth, we got consciousness that glommed onto us from all these generations of family, and then even lifetimes of energy, of misaligned energy on this planet. Because again, we came to clear all of it, like all of it, all the karma, all the misalignment, all the silly stuff. We're here to clear it. So we need some tools, right? The tools help us figure out where our vibration is and then how to shift it. And it's so simple to shift it, but what's so funny is that, again, when we look at pandemic about humanity and where we are energetically, self-sabotage is like huge on that list, right? How many of you started off journaling and then gave it up, or meditated for every morning and then stopped, or, started living a life in a certain way, juicing every day or whatever it is, and, joined a gym and then didn't go, right? That's part of our patterning that we're in the process of unraveling, and then putting something in that makes so much more sense with who we are. And so I'm not going to give too much away, but I'm excited for that, to share that with all of you for sure.
That's amazing. And so what do you think about this word ascension? What does that mean for you?
What does ascension mean for me? Ascension means that from the root, we rise. And I heard that quote recently from a friend of mine, but I've heard it before, but he put it back into my consciousness, right? We have lower chakras that are really holding a lot of density, because a lot of us, again, since we came in to wake up, we have a lot to get rid of in the collective Akashic, right? We don't want collective consciousness. We want unity consciousness. Right? But we're still in collective consciousness, and our lower chakras hold so much fear and survival and pain and all kinds of colorful expressions of being in body, right? But when we start to clear that energy and connect to Gaia and remember our heart source, and remember how our thoughts become things, and how we can bring every aspect of our being into full alignment, full health and joy, right? I light candles all over my house every day, and those candles have specific prayers. And one of them is for humanity, to all of us align to our divinity with ease and grace. Because I get it, even again, with all the wisdom that I have, my inner child and my soul are not always meeting. Oftentimes they're going like this. My soul is like, wait a second, didn't you understand what I was trying to say? My inner child is like, but. So my awareness is that as we bring healing in and love in and safety, right? What it means to be in community and feel safe, to love each other unconditionally, to know that that love is real, right? Because it is real, but we don't always experience it with one another. I only love you if, and if you don't do what I want, then I take my love away from you. I mean, we all grew up with a lot of that kind of energy in our field, right? So our ascension happens as my awareness, literally through the chakra system, as we are clearing and coming into heart frequency, right? To my awareness is just like consciousness, we're going to have one chakra, the unity chakra. It's going to be our heart, the heart energy, right? So that's our ascension, is into love. Our ascension is into remembering that there is no one outside of us. If I curse that guy who cut me off, I just cursed myself. If I do something wrong against someone, I've just actually done that to myself. And our ascension is really remembering that we are one with all that is.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aurora.
Ascension into love. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
for that beautiful reminder that we are here for oneness, and that's why we're here, and that's where we're going. So thank you, Aurora, for your time and for being with us today. This is so exciting. And we're so excited to hear more about quantum manifesting and practice with you during the online conference in October.
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. We're going to have a blast.
Exactly.
Definitely. Yeah, it's going to be 2 days nonstop download of so many epic awareness. There's 25 presenters altogether. Yeah, go ahead, Tangela.
I'm going to say, and for those of you who are interested and excited about Aurora's 3-day sound activation, I did drop in the YouTube chat the link to her website where you can learn more about the 3-day experience, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, where you can really take a whole sound vibrational journey with Aurora to anchor in the energies of Gaia, the Angelics, and the galactic. So that also sounds amazing and can tune in from anywhere. So really excited to be, working with you, Aurora, and just being able to experience all of this magic that you create. Thank you.
And the same for both of you. Thank you for this platform and for everything that the both of you are doing, because you are both really offering the entire planet so much magic. So many people get to connect in and really become more awake and really just come back to love. And that's because you're offering platforms for not just people like myself, but even both of you. Like both of you in your own right are amazing healers on this planet. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
You
really
so
appreciate
much.
it. It's so fun doing this work, like
Right?
Not only it's so amazing. Sometimes I really need to take a step back and just like have gratitude for the fact that I get to do this and live this, right? Because this is the greatest story ever told. Humanity, how we got to where we are now and where we're going to go next, and we have the choice to take ourselves wherever we want to go. And it's just about waking up to make a realization that we can consciously create. We don't have to be a victim. Perceive this to be in a victimhood reality. We could shift that around and we can create heaven on earth and magic on earth. And that's why I'm so excited to work like with Tangela, like, oh my God, one of the best people I've ever met. Totally. Right. And every platinum member of Soul Search are some of the most incredible people that I know Tangela has really like checked into, vetted out, and connected with. So I'm really excited just to be connected with you and, getting to know you more here. And for the next, guys, everybody tuning in, we're going to be going live for the next 2 months, like seriously, like every other day with all of the members of the Platinum Mastermind group of Soul Search. These individuals that are really pushing. Soul Search is literally on its way to becoming the world's largest conscious event directory. It's already the most robust. It's already got the most features. It's already integrating social media with all these directory features for us to know about practitioners worldwide, right? So the platform's already the best. Now it's on its way to becoming, really the #1 place for us to connect. And, Aurora is a huge part of this as well. And I just want to give props, Tangela, for everything you've done. I'm just excited that we're coming together,
Oh, thank you so much, Neil. I mean, thank you to both you and Aurora for leading the way, paving the way, we are just such an exciting time of humanity right now. I mean, consciousness is bursting wide open, and what an incredible gift and opportunity we have to be able to co-create together and share all of these gifts with the world. It's just, this, what we're able to do in this moment and bring this wisdom, bring this frequency, bring this vibration out to bigger and bigger and bigger audiences. It's incredible, because we're going to start seeing things shifting so fast. And like you both have been saying this whole time, we are co-creators of our own reality together. So we can be creating this new reality in our vision of ultimate love and harmony.
Straight up. And that's why we're coming together, right? Like we're coming together. Together we make change. Like, we're so coming together that Tangela, myself, and Joan decided to live together for a whole month. Just to do, literally living together. It's so cool. 3 of us here on computers, creating all this consciousness together, bouncing back and forth. Now is the time. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The awakening is happening. There's no holding back. Let's keep moving forward and really create beauty on earth, peace on earth, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning in here to the first in a series that's going to be around 25 plus individuals doing amazing interviews, introducing to some epic people on the planet. So I just want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And again, do check out the podcast. We are on Portal to Ascension Radio as well on all the platforms. We're going to have the audio up there for this. Hi to everybody tuning into the podcast. And we will be going live again within a day. So tomorrow. So I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow. So thank you, Aurora, Angela.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Aurora. It was so wonderful having you here with us. Thanks, Neil.
Thank you, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.